We could talk Leafs, but I'd prefer to do this for my own self. The report is out there, guys, that the Pittsburgh Penguins are considering a fire sale.
Mm-hmm.
But that fire sale does not include Malkin, Crosby, at least, and potentially Letang. And Karlsson, you can't move. So is that a fire sale?
No. No, that's a garage sale.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, can we have like a 5th rounder for a 3rd liner? Sure. What'll you give me for this? That you're not at a car dealership. You're on my lawn. I got some old garden shears. Like what are we even talking about? Who is a pending free agent on the Pittsburgh Penguins?
Well, I think Marcus Pettersson is the one that yeah. So
damn.
The report is
he's good. I like him.
Marco D'Amico from RG.org.
Okay.
And D'Amico asserts that Crosby, Malkin, Rust, Tomasino, and Pickering are the only players Pittsburgh has no interest in moving. Sorry, I incorrectly said.
So what kind of fire sale is this? We're not moving.
So you've got
like 10 guys?
Pettersson, Grzelcyk, Anthony Beauvillier with expiring contracts, Raquel, Karlsson, Letang, and Graves, who would be available and have years left on their deals.
Stupid. They should move heaven and earth to keep him. Who are the other names?
Raquel, Karlsson, Letang, Graves, Pettersson, Grzelcyk, Anthony Beauvillier.
Okay, Adam, bear with me. Start the list of guys who are available again.
Marcus Pettersson, Matt Grzelcyk.
No. Slow. Marcus Pettersson.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Matt Grzelcyk.
Power play specialist, meh.
Traded for a 4th at the deadline, Anthony Beauvillier.
Meh.
Ricard Raquel.
Good.
Erik Karlsson.
Redonkulously expensive.
Kris Letang.
Old.
Ryan Graves.
Absolutely not. Oh, is that the end of the list?
That's it.
That's not a fire sale. Hey, the Penguins are open to trading their problems? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Plus Ricard Raquel? Guys, what are we doing here?
Well, and this is where I wanted to ask you guys about, is this the start of a rebuild in everything but name? Okay, Crosby and Malkin want to stay there till the end of their careers. That's fine. I get that. Letang is making $6.1 million. Guys, he's not playing up to his $6.1 million. But if you get Letang retained,
sure,
then at $3 million, you're like, oh man, I'll take that. That's great.
Everyone knows they're rebuilding except them. The rebuild began when they traded Gensel. Guys, I don't care what they think this is. You traded Jake Gensel. Who didn't he want to stay?
Yes.
His teammates wanted him.
He wanted to stay. They wanted to extend him. By the way,
that's a rebuild.
Since last show, Ryan Graves has played 2 more games, still has not registered a point.
That's a rebuild. What are we doing?
Well, and I'm just trying to figure out. Okay, so
the rebuilding team is open to ditching players who don't help them moving forward.
Well, so I think I'm looking at this, and I wanted to ask you guys about this because this felt like, okay, Erik Karlsson at $10 million. Erik Karlsson at 11.5 was a lot. Erik Karlsson at 10 is a lot, right? Just due to age. But he's got 32 points in 49 games. I know a team, the Leafs, who could use an offensive defenseman. Is Erik Karlsson at $7 million an attractive thing where you give up major assets for? No. Jesse Blake.
Do the Penguins have retention slots available?
That is a good question. I would imagine that they do. I think the only team that is retentioned out is the San Jose Sharks at this point, but I will check that. And, you know, the reason I ask this is if they start to go down that road and retain on some of these contracts, that 3 buyout retained. Oh, they have 3 buyout retained.
Yeah, so they don't
even have retention.
That's not possible.
Oh my God. That's not even possible.
Yeah.
So they would have to...
They have to move these guys at full jack.
Yeah.
They would have to get a third team involved, and they'll get pennies on the dollar because you have to get a third team involved, but you weren't able to retain yourself.
And you got to pay that team to retain, obviously. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're significant.
You're boned.
And here's the other thing. Here are the 3 people that they have retained on / bought out. So Jeff Petrie was a retention when they traded him to Detroit.
And that probably comes off the books what? This summer?
After this summer.
Okay, so maybe they do something.
1.5.
Yeah.
Riley Smith, they had, which they moved. They wanted to move him. They wanted to get him from Vegas. That was one of Dubas's first moves, was to get him from Vegas.
They retained to send him to New York?
$1.25 million.
Oh,
that expires
bro.
this summer. And then Jack Johnson, which was a buyout, which was a Ron Hextall move, which was stupid. They bought him out.
So when's that?
That's 2 years from now. Almost $1 million a year.
What are they doing, man? Well, what they're doing is they're still, it's not all doom and gloom for the Penguins.
Really?
It's going forward, it's a world of shit. But
with those slots you were just talking about, one of them's a buyout, right?
Yes.
So they still do have one retention spot.
They got one. Okay.
Yeah, because you get 3 retention spots, but the buyouts don't count for that. So I was wrong there. So they can retain salary if you said the Jack Johnson one was a buyout.
Yes.
Okay, so they got one retention spot left. Okay, so there you go.
So if you have a retention spot,
get back to that.
Erik Karlsson, who is valuable on one side, not so much on the other, as long as he's never taking a defensive zone start, I'm happy with a guy like that on my team at $7 million, especially where the cap is going. I know he's 34. I know he's had injuries, but the guy is still scoring a lot of points. Hey, the Leafs could benefit from a player like Erik Karlsson.
It's not a bad player. It's just a ridiculous amount of money.
What they're going to need, though, is significant assets back. And in order to get those, like Marcus Pettersson, I think CJ said, Julian asked CJ on the show the other day, what does Marcus Pettersson get? CJ's probably a second. If you get a bunch of bidders, maybe you're able to push that to a low first. But
that's pretty good.
Okay, that's great. But you don't want to trade all of these guys who hey, we don't want to trade. I don't want to give you any of my good cards, right? I got Pokemon cards. I don't want to give you any of my good cards, but I want your good card.
Get ready to get a bunch of energy cards back.
If you could take Erik Karlsson for just the salary, would you guys do that?
For the Leafs?
Yeah, no, any team. Are you
the full salary, $10 million?
Just take it.
I don't think so.
The Pens are just giving it to you for a 7th round pick. Are you taking that?
You got 2 more years after this one at $10 million.
If I'm Dubas and I'm unloading this deal, I'm sending it away for just the cap space that I get, right?
What? Yeah, but what competitive team can do that?
Mm-hmm. So even if we'll retain on some of that. Let's say it's $7 million that Adam's saying. If I'm Dubas, I'm giving that away. I'll just send it away.
I think he has to,
right? I don't think there needs to be anything coming back the other way that's significant.
Oh, I understand.
There's no trade that needs to be done.
Because the cap space is more valuable?
If I'm Dubas, I'm looking at this and it's I just want out from under this deal. I'll take all of that cap space back.
Part of the reason the Sharks retain so little is people forget the contracts Dubas just pitched out the door. And at the time, it was whew, thank goodness he got those out the door.
Man, I hate Granlund.
One of them was Granlund, who was not a good Penguin, though.
Yes, he wasn't.
It's important to note he was not a good Penguin. He's been a great Shark.
But the money was almost even going back and forth between the Sharks and Penguins.
Jan Ruda, and there was another big-ish player. I can't remember.
Wasn't it the Petrie deal?
That's Detroit, isn't it?
Oh, that is it? Oh, okay.
It was different. It might have been 3-way. Oh, maybe it was Petrie.
Yeah.
There was a lot of money going the other way. You would have to do something like that again.
And here's what I want to bring up if Kris Letang is well and truly available. First off, he has a no movement clause, full no movement clause. Mm-hmm. So he gets to choose. And even then, if you work out a deal, Kris Letang's
Mike Hoffman.
Oh, Mike Hoffman.
Ah, yes.
Hoffman, Granlund, and Ruda and a first.
I forgot.
Was the Karlsson deal. Yeah, that was 4.5 for Hoffman, 5 for Granlund, and 2.7 for Ruda.
It's pretty much Karlsson for a first.
This deal, by the way, for Letang is not a Dubas signing. This is Ron Hextall, and you can't talk about Kyle Dubas with some of these deals without talking about Kris Letang, without talking about Ron Hextall and Brian Burke. However, it's not like Kyle came in and made it better.
What GM comes into a good situation?
So
it's rare.
Here's what I'm going to give you. Do you know that Kris Letang has 3 more years after this one at $6.1 million? He is 37 years old.
It's not going to age great.
It's also Robida, right? That goes on LTIR eventually.
I would think so.
Well, of all the players who go on Robida Island where I'm that's some bullshit. Kris Letang, it's a miracle he's still playing.
Yes.
Miracle.
He's had heart attacks and he's had crazy
He didn't
injuries.
have a heart attack.
You know what I'm talking about,
He had 2 at least 2 strokes
Yes.
that I can think of.
And 51 points last year.
Gee, like, he's incredible. He's probably a Hall of Famer.
I think so.
At minimum, he's a Pittsburgh Penguins legend, multiple time Stanley Cup champion. But if one day they're like, yeah, he's not playing again, we're putting him on LTIR, I'll be like,
I think
yep.
everybody understands.
Everyone's, deserved.
Don't even investigate it. Just let it happen.
Don't even.
Here's the thing with Letang.
What? That's nuts. Who is? Oh, it's. Oh, okay, fine.
The thing with Kris Letang is he shoots right.
Oh, stop.
No, I'm serious.
Oh,
so does Karlsson.
Someone is always going to want him, but he might be one of those guys who. What I'd be interested to know is what is the money owed on those years?
Good question.
Because
look that up.
Okay, I got to uproot my family and play another year somewhere else for $2 million.
It's not great. 4.8, 3.8, and 3.8. So there are some savings, roughly 40% in the last 2 years. But this year it's 6.2. Next year it's 4.8, and it goes to 3.8. So,
So okay, I'm going to agree to a trade, and let's rank. Like what's
he has
what's
a
the
10-team
best
no
option?
trade list starting years 5 and 6. By the way, I should mention.
So he'll have a decision to make. Report to the team that your name is going to pop up in those rumors. Do you play those final 2 years somewhere else because they're moving you? They are, or do you just retire?
Mm-hmm.
And how's that going to make Sid feel? How's that going to make Gino feel? Now, sorry, what I was trying to say, a few moments ago, the Penguins are 4 points out of a playoff spot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the teams ahead of them have a game or two in hand, but I keep saying it, everyone's a hot week away, except for the Sabres. Everyone is a hot week away. They're right there. The Penguins' problems moving forward are obvious and painful, but I wouldn't be surprised if this fire sale goes away real fast if the ship rights itself.
Isn't it funny, though? We've been saying that for 18 months.
Yeah,
if they could just write themselves.
Where's the evidence that that's going to happen?
I know, but they're right there. Like I think some Penguins fans
way of looking at it.
I think some Penguins fans are if it was me, I'd blow the thing up. But I think some Penguins fans are like, all right, we get it, we're fucked. Like we're screwed going forward. What do we do? What if you're okay? They're 4 points out, right?
Okay.
How do we get 4 points in? How do we leapfrog all the teams ahead of us and get one of the wild cards?
Well, it'd have to be a good team to do that.
Yeah, they did. Well, they made the first step towards that by saying Tristan Jarry's not playing here anymore.
Right. Okay. There you go.
We can assume that our goalie's most nights not going to let in a goal in the first 3 shots.
How about Montreal? They got a guy back from injury.
Yeah,
they made a pretty nice trade
with Carrier
to boost their defensive depth.
Kirby Dach is starting to look like Kirby Dach.
And they got a little bit of luck by calling up
Dobich,
a goalie.
Yeah.
Who I don't even think the Habs knew he was that good. He hasn't lost yet. So is there some luck involved there? Sure. Of course there is. Where's the Penguins version of that? You're telling me that the whatever the Penguins version of the Carrier deal isn't out there? Kyle. Barry Trotz. 1-800 Trotz.
He's already made a deal with
him. To the bottom of you. Yes. He's feeling good this morning. They came back from a 5-1 deficit. Call him.
So he's not going to trade then?
Maybe.
Because now, listen, they're just a hot week away. Not the Preds. Not the
No,
Preds.
no. There's like 5 or 6 teams around the league who are not a hot week away. And they're one of them.
I think the Penguins would be much better off accepting what they are. And I think we've known that for a year and a half now, especially with the goal differential is the -32 is ugly. It's last in the Eastern Conference by a wide margin. And I think there's so much evidence here that this team doesn't have the ability to turn around. And I would like for them to pick a direction, whether it's if they want to buy, like, do that, go all in. If you have Crosby for 2 years and you want to say we're doing everything we can to win with Crosby, then there are things you can do to go in that direction. Like, if you want to keep selling futures, you can. It's irresponsible.
But they've said that they don't want to.
Right. It's irresponsible to do that. But if you were to say we're going for it, then do that. And then the fire sale, if you're going in that direction, then tear the whole thing down. My least favorite thing in pro sports is the team that's finishing 11th in a conference, 12th in a conference, 10 even. That little middle area is where it's going to kill you because you don't have an immediate direction you're going in. So I'd like to see the Penguins, after all of these years of success, to pick, hey, we're going to fully rebuild, or we're truly going to try and sell everything for the future to try and win for 2 years here. Pick one.
I think you got to try. Okay, listen. We already know they're not going to decide to lose. They're too stubborn. They're not going to do it.
I don't think that's necessarily true. Like, I think the team can show you that we need to decide to lose, and Kyle can pick that direction if he's continually being forced by the performance on the ice to do that. And I think Kyle Dubas, because of his giant ass contract for $100 billion in 20 years, can sway management to do that, because he should have that pull if he truly is running the show as the president of the entire club.
So, last show, I brought up Jack Roslovic in like a JT Miller trade. I'm not saying this player is available or Kyle Dubas should go out and get him. But what if you were able to go out, get a guy who can help you win now, right? Get into the playoffs. And if the trade deadline, first or second week of March, shows up and you're still in the same spot, you blow it to friggin' smithereens. I don't have a problem with him giving the team the next 6 weeks or so to show us what they're made of. But if what they're made of is still this, volcano.